they offer a few. Like for example, for this Amazon Titan, you can create text, embeds, and also image. Now, once that you already know which foundation models that you want to use, you can just go to the playground. So we have 3 different sections of playgrounds. We have chat, text, and image. And let's create something here. Let's create a prompt here. I want to write a paragraph about my favorite food, nasi goreng, with maximum 50 words, and I just need to run it. And something that's really cool about this playground in Amazon Bedrock, you can also configure the parameters for the foundation models. And if you want to do comparison, look at this. If I click compare mode, then you can see the select model here, which you can use to choose another model and have a side-by-side comparison. So this is a really cool way to get started with Amazon Bedrock and GenAI. You can also have this model metrics over here if you want to evaluate your models. Now, something that I really want to note here, that with Amazon Bedrock, you not only that you can create content, but you can also do various things. Like for example, when I mentioned that you want to do fine-tuning with your own proprietary data, you can use custom models. Or if you want to implement the policies for the foundation models to block harmful content in inputs and model responses, you can also use guardrails. Right, so this is Amazon Bedrock. And another example is that you can also create an image. Here I create a photo of nasi goreng. This is just to give you an idea on what kind of lunch or dinners that you want to have later on. So you can create this image, and they are available with API as well. So you can just use the SDK, and you can create a programmatic way to invoke the model in Amazon Bedrock. Right, so let's back to this slide. Now, something that's really cool about Amazon Bedrock, as I mentioned, is that most of the features we put it into Amazon Bedrock, and that unlocks a lot of opportunities. Now, at this stage, you know that Amazon Bedrock can generate content for you. But there's another question. How about customizing with your own data? Now, to equip the foundation models with up-to-date information, you can implement retrieval augmented generation, or what they know as RAG. Now, RAG is a technique that involves fetching data from company data sources and enriching the prompt with the data to deliver more relevant and accurate responses. Now, the cool thing about Amazon Bedrock is that you can use knowledge base for Amazon Bedrock to implement end-to-end. Imagine that, end-to-end RAG implementation with Amazon Bedrock. And this means that it also helps you to ingest the data, and then retrieve the data, and also augment the prompt, so it will give you more relevant and accurate responses. That's super cool, right? Another cool thing, so many cool things about Amazon Bedrock. And another cool thing about Amazon Bedrock is agents for Amazon Bedrock, right? So at this stage, now you know that with Amazon Bedrock, you can use knowledge base to implement RAG. You can extend and customize the FMs with your own data. But how about if we want them to take action and do more? For example, if I say that, let's say that I'm chatting with these FMs for booking travel, and I want to directly book the tickets and hotels for me directly in the chat. Yes, you can do that with agents for Amazon Bedrock. So with agents for Amazon Bedrock, it will help you to plan and execute multi-steps using your own system and data sources. You can combine the knowledge base with these agents, and in the end, you can also integrate with AWS Lambda functions. So you have your data, and then you can also invoke with Lambda functions to have your applications to do another actions or API calls, which is amazing. Right, so I just want to do a quick demo. I promise, Chris, that I will not do a lot of demos here, but I'm going to keep it short. So let's switch to the demos. Yeah. So let's say that I have Amazon shareholder letters here. And then in this case, I want to get insights, what kind of information that I can get by using for the foundational models. So what I did was I download everything, and then I upload everything into the Amazon S3 bucket, right? So this could be your own data. Now, the next thing that I did was I go to the knowledge base. I create the knowledge base. It's going to add the data source for me as well. And at the end, I have RAG implementations with Amazon Bedrock. So let me close this one. And here I'm trying to test the knowledge base. Like in this case, I prompt the foundation models, what is Amazon doing in generative AI space? Oh, I got a response, which is super relevant. But what I really like is that I can click here, show the result details, and I get the references where these foundational models get the info from. So this is to reduce the hallucinations, and at the end, I have a proper response to my query. Right. So this is a quick demo on knowledge space. So let's switch back to the to the slides. Now, so agents for Amazon Bedrock, we already mentioned about it. And something that's really cool is Amazon Q. So last year, I had this amazing opportunity to write blog posts covering Amazon Q launch. And honestly, it's beyond imagination. In a nutshell, Amazon Q is your generative AI assistant that you can tailor to suit your work. In short, Amazon Q is your friend. Now, we mentioned earlier that builders have different backgrounds, and that's why AWS released Amazon Q. Amazon Q is designed to help you in different works. You can use Amazon Q for your business with internal data. That's one. You can also use Amazon Q in QuickSight to get more insights. You can also use Amazon Q in Amazon Connect and supply chain. And more importantly, you can use Amazon Q to build applications on AWS. So imagine that, all of that in one service, and that is Amazon Q. Right. So I just want to give you a quick demo on Amazon Q. Right, so here we are at AWS console. Now, to use Amazon Q, you can see there's a icon here on the right side, and bam, there you are. This is Amazon Q. It says, hello, I'm Amazon Q, your AWS Generative AI Assistant. And from here, you can ask Amazon Q your questions. Like, for example, I want to, I need to create a serverless APIs. What are the AWS services, let me fix that prompt, that I need to use? And Amazon Q is going to give us the responses from this kind of query. Now, something that I really like about this Amazon Q is that not only giving me the responses, but also the sources. Like, for example, it has the sources for serverless computing, right? And this one. And also, like, for example, focusing on core serverless services. And you probably notice on the bottom side here, you can see this Amazon Q logo as well. And this means that you can continue the conversation from your console to the AWS documentations and back and forth. So, because Amazon Q lives everywhere in AWS ecosystem. Now, something that's really cool about Amazon Q is that you can use Amazon Q to troubleshoot your issues on AWS console as well. For example, I have these Lambda functions, and this code is actually just to retrieve the data from DynamoDB. You can see that it's just trying to list the data from DynamoDB. Now, but for unknown reason yet, if I test this, oh, it failed. Oh no, what should we do? But the best thing about Amazon Q is that you can also troubleshoot with Amazon Q. You can see this button on the right side here. And if I click here, Amazon Q will help you to resolve the following error. It will try to identify, and it will create an analysis for you. And then you can also click Help Me to Resolve to get recommendation from Amazon Q. What are the instructions to resolve this issue? Amazing, right? Now, the other thing that I love about Amazon Q is that Chris mentioned that we have 750 plus instances on Amazon EC2. Now, let's say that you want to run your workloads, and you're having this challenge to identify which EC2 instance types that you need to use. Now, you can use Amazon Q for that as well. You can use Amazon Q and ask Amazon Q directly in the chat box. But what I really like is that if you go to the Amazon EC2 page, and if you want to launch an instance, you can see this is a button here. There's a link here, which if you click this, it will pop up a dialog. Amazing, right? Now, in this pop-up dialog, what I really like is that it's really narrowed down the context and gives you the context for the prompts that we want to share with Amazon Q. For example, I want to run a web hosting, web app servers for the workload type, and I want to use Amazon Graviton. And if I click this button, it's going to pass the prompt with the more context into Amazon Q. Right? So, and this will definitely going to help you to choose which EC2 instance type that you need to use to run your workloads. Now, it doesn't end there, because like for example, one of the most common questions when I just get started with AWS is that when I run the EC2 instance, I get this kind of issue to connect to my EC2 using SSH. Like for example, there's a prompt here that I can just quickly click it, and it says that it looks like that you need help with network connectivity issue. And it also says that you can try the preview experience here. And if I click here, you can see that we go to the page where it shows Amazon Q network troubleshooting. And what I really like is that it's going to give you the result, the path, if you want to get more insights about how to solve your network issues. And which is really cool, because now you have the assistance to help you to troubleshoot your network connectivity in your AWS account as well, right? So this is the Amazon Q in the console. As I mentioned, okay, so I forgot to mention, you can also see the path here to narrow down the context on which step that you need to identify your network connectivity issue. Right, so we've been talking about Amazon Q, and also I just want to quickly mention, with Amazon Q, you can also use Amazon Q for Business. With Amazon Q for Business, you can also use internal data, as you can see here, and you can have this web experience that lets your team members to log in. But not only that, Amazon Q also available in Visual Studio Code. That's amazing. Now, the way to use Amazon Q is that you need to log into Code Whisperer. So you need to install the AWS Toolkit and then log into the Code Whisperer. And here we are with Amazon Q in Visual Studio Code. Now, I can continue the conversation here, like for example, how if I want to build a pub/sub pattern with AWS. But more importantly, this is how I use Amazon Q in Visual Studio Code. Like I want Amazon Q to help me explain this code. If I click this, it's going to try to understand this code, and we got the response. And this is a really great way to minimize the learning curve about probably a new project or new codes that you have, and you have a really great insights by using Amazon Q. And not only that, with Amazon Q, you can ask Amazon Q to create a function, and it's going to help you to put into the source codes automatically or manually if you want it to place into a specific cursor location. Right. Okay, so let's go back to the slide. Yeah, so that's Amazon Q and generative AI. And that demo wraps everything in Gen AI. And something that I like to note here is that, and this is one is really important, you can use the foundational model as is. But if you want to use foundational models to suit your needs, you need to have a proper data. So let's get back to Chris, where we're going to learn about data and analytics.
You know that there are so many fans, Donnie, of D&D's Demo Den, and I think you've done them proud today. Trust me, folks, he had a lot more demos that I would not let him show you. Come back to Innovate AIML, the keynotes, next month, because I think Donnie is going to use all of those demos he couldn't fit into this one. So if you want to see more, come to that. Now, Donnie showed us lots of ways that generative AI can be applied to your business. But really, as he pointed out, it's the data underneath that matters. Data is the differentiator. It's gonna be the differentiator that helps your business, both the needs of today, but also prepare you for the future. You know, as your company transforms, as you bring out new applications, new innovations, you're gonna need a strong data foundation. Because if you don't have the data underneath it, even the most fancy large language model in the world isn't gonna help you get business value out of it. So what do you need for a data foundation? You need a few different things. You need a comprehensive set of tools for all your use cases, you know, ranging from basic things like data warehouses and databases to all those shiny new large language models that we were just looking at. You need all these tools to be designed to work together, to make it easy to get your jobs done without having to write lots of custom code and custom solutions. You also need governance and security built in end to end. You want to have complete control over who can access your data all the way along the pipeline. And of course, ideally, you want to be able to tap into the power of machine learning and generative AI to make things easier, faster, and cheaper. So that's the really high-level view. Let's zoom in a little bit closer then on those tools, on the AWS tools. AWS has a range of relational databases like Amazon Aurora and Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS, as well as several non-relational databases like DynamoDB. We've got places to store and query your data for analytics and machine learning like Amazon S3. So many customers are building their data lakes on S3. Amazon Redshift, our data warehouse that provides up to 6 times better price performance than any other cloud data warehouse. And of course, there are tools that can act on your data. Donnie's shown you some of our machine learning and AI tools, but you also need services to derive insights from your data, to do analysis on it, such as Amazon QuickSight, our unified business intelligence service. And of course, you need to catalog and govern your data with services that centralize access controls. If we click in just a little bit closer now on just databases, AWS has more than 15 different purpose-built engines to support your diverse data models, from relational, key value, document, in-memory, graph, time series, wide column, and ledger databases. But the really exciting here is that many of them have serverless options, meaning you can run your database without having to manage servers or clusters. Now, one of the big database announcements we were really happy to see this year at reInvent was a new serverless option for Amazon Elasticache. That's going to allow you to create a cache in under a minute and to automatically scale capacity based on your application traffic patterns. And that's compatible with both the Redis and Memcached engines. It's going to automatically store data redundantly across multiple availability zones, and it provides you with a 99.99% availability SLA. I was really excited about this announcement, a new announcement for relational database workloads, Amazon Aurora Limitless Database. With this service, you have the ability to easily scale your databases beyond the right throughput of a single database instance. Amazon Aurora Limitless Database provides a serverless endpoint that is going to distribute queries across multiple Aurora serverless instances while maintaining the transactional consistency of a single database. It also offers you capabilities such as distributed query planning, transaction management, eliminating the need for you to create custom solutions or manage multiple databases to scale. And so as your workloads increase, Aurora Limitless Database is going to add additional compute resources while staying within your specified budget. So there's no need to provision for peak, and of course that compute is automatically going to scale down when your traffic slows. Looking at the analytics tools, just as with databases, AWS has a range of purpose-built analytics services, including, things like loading unlimited data into S3 and interactively querying it, big data analytics, real-time analytics, and data warehouses. And many of these are available fully managed. Data lakes, ETL operations such as data extract transformations, visualization through BI tools, even logging and search services are now, in many cases, available as serverless options. So no longer do you have that undifferentiated heavy lifting of having to pre-configure and manage your compute capacity for analytics. Now, one big announcement for Redshift serverless that was announced at reInvent is we previewed new AI techniques to scale automatically with workload changes across all key dimensions, like data volume changes, concurrent users, even query complexity, to meet and maintain your price performance targets. And testing shows that these optimizations can give you up to 10 times better price performance for variable workloads without the need for you to do any manual interventions. Zero ETL has been a theme for a couple of reInvents now. We talked about it at the keynote for Builders Online last year. ETL, if you're not familiar with the team, refers to extract, transform, and load. And so this is a traditional process that you have to go through to combine your data from lots of different places, to clean it, and to normalize it, to get it ready for running your machine learning or your analysis for insights. This is a really time-consuming process. Like, not only do you have to build these pipelines, but if a single data source changes, you've got to change all of that code and redeploy it again. This can add weeks to the timeline for your project, a lot of cost as well. And so what zero ETL does is it makes this go away by eliminating or minimizing the need to build these pipelines in the first place, allowing you to query your data across data silos without having to move it around. Now, AWS has been investing in this shiny zero ETL feature for several years now. So, for example, for customers who want to move large amounts of data between Amazon S3 and Redshift, we brought out automatic copy. Also, in 2022, we brought out a fully managed zero ETL integration that allows you to use Amazon Redshift for analytics workloads on petabytes of transactional data in Amazon Aurora for real-time analytics and machine learning. Now, notably, at the most recent reInvent in 2023, we announced 3 new zero ETL integrations. They're going to allow you to move data from Amazon's RDS MySQL, Aurora Postgres, and DynamoDB to Redshift. And along with that, we also announced automated data movement from DynamoDB and S3 to Amazon's OpenSearch service. So in particular, these integrations make it really easy for you to use OpenSearch to search your DynamoDB data, or for example, to query operational logs that you might have in S3 without having to switch between different services. I always love including a customer example in all these, and this is one I'm going to Delhi in a few weeks, and I wanted to just highlight BlueSmart. BlueSmart is an India-based ride-sharing company, a ride-sharing service that have an additional mission. As the subcontinent moves towards a sustainable means of transport, India has set themselves some really aggressive goals around sustainability to get to net zero by 2070, and BlueSmart will help them get there by helping to reduce the impact of transport. Transport's a really big contributor to carbon emissions. So BlueSmart run about 4,000 electric vehicles or EVs across Delhi and Bangalore, and they plan on scaling to other cities with a goal of getting to 100,000 electric vehicles. And so what do they need to achieve their goals? Well, they need a really robust IT infrastructure, scalable infrastructure that's going to ensure that they can quickly match people asking for rides to drivers. They want to have zero downtime for their users. And of course, as a fast-growing startup, they really need to keep an eye on their costs. So they need to maximize their financial resources, and that means using predictive analytics to boost both their performance and their operational and energy efficiency. Remember, BlueSmart's all about sustainability. So what did they do? They built a solution using Amazon Aurora, Amazon Redshift, and Amazon SageMaker to build a predictive analytics model to boost and forecast demand. They can actually forecast peak demand and make sure that their drivers are in the right place at the right time. In fact, their model has shown 97% of the time their drivers can actually be where they're needed, on time or ahead of time, 97% of cases. Along with this, they use auto-scaling to scale their compute needs up and down. This is saving them money. And they've estimated that through these solutions, they've actually gained 30% operational efficiency. This has freed up their developers to focus on building even better customer experiences. And what's that going to do? That's going to get more people using this ride-hailing service, using electric vehicles, and ultimately contributing to their sustainability goals. So really excited to see what BlueSmart does in the future. And with that, we're nearly at the end. We're going to start getting towards the finish line. Now, Donnie is back. And Donnie, I was talking about sustainability, and he had said before, Werner Vogel, said that price and cost is a good proxy for sustainability. And so you're going to tell us about how we can optimize that, right?
That's correct. And it's really amazing. As always, he delivered an insightful talk. Because, and for me, it's really relevant, and some of you probably have this same experience with me. Because I used to install servers in data center, installing the operating system, the RAID, and also the deployment for my servers as well. And when cloud computing came, suddenly I can provision any kind of resources and also build infrastructure and architecture that I want to be without the constraint of the physicality. But even with all of this freedom, that doesn't mean that I should use all services. We still need to think about the cost. So in the last segment, we're going to talk about how to cost optimize your cloud architecture, basing from the frugal architect coined by Dr. Werner. Now, the frugal architecture has has three main parts. It's design, measure, and also optimize. Now, first, you need to design the architecture by holding costs as a non-functional requirement. And this is something that still needs to align with
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AWS Builders Online. My name is Chris Howard. I'm the head of AWS Developer Relations for Asia Pacific.
this code, and we got the
Service, you have the ability to easily scale your databases beyond the right process that you have to. This shiny zero. With that, we're
business and also making the trade-off that reduce the cost. Then you also need to measure everything. If you have an unmeasured system, it will create unknown costs, and that totally makes sense, right? And an architecture that is cost-aware will have precise cost control. And finally, that you still need to optimize with the measured results. And something that I really like from his keynotes was this optimization process should be an ongoing process. It's a journey. It's constantly changing and evolving your architecture. Now, the beauty of the cloud, and especially in this context is on AWS, is that it's easy to build and change. So it's really important to measure various operational after deployment. And in a nutshell, you need to architect your application with cost in mind. The idea is that if you let the cost to be unconstrained, it will help you to drive architectural innovation. Now, if you want to learn more about the frugal architects, I really recommend you to scan the QR code and get more insight from the website. Now, and to help you to optimize your costs, we just launched the Unified Billing and Management Console. And this is where you can get insights and recommendations to help you understand your spending, identify issues, and also save money. And something that I really appreciate from AWS is that most of the services is built with the granular control, so you can easily see and have this visibility of the cost. And with this unified billing and management console, it makes it easier for you to decide where to focus, prioritize what matters most, and take any actions. And it also works with Amazon QuickSight, so you can create a pre-built interactive dashboards. And if you need to process it more further, listen to this, you can use the SQL interface to export the billing and expense management data with custom column selection and row filters. And another launch that I'm super excited as well is the AWS Cost Optimization Hub. The new cost optimization hub makes it easy to identify, to filter, and consolidate more than 15 types of AWS cost optimization recommendations across AWS accounts and AWS regions. And this includes the EC2 instance right-sizing recommendation, the Graviton migration recommendations, idle resource detections, that's really important, saving plans recommendation, and more to help you to optimize your AWS spend through a single dashboard. And something that I really like about this launch is that you can easily compare and prioritize the recommendations. And last but not least, My Application is a new launch that allows you to manage your cloud resources on an application-by-application basis in the AWS Management Console. Now, the way it works is that you can group favorite cloud resources under a single tag, giving you the visibility into the cost, the health of applications, the security posture, and performance information on a per application basis. And it also has multiple widgets, which is really nice, to give you per application security and observability metrics at a glance. Now, if you haven't used tag for your resources, this is the right time for you to start. Whew.
Whoa, nearly at the end, buddy. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yes.
Shall we recap for everyone what we covered today?
We should do that.
All right.
So we talk about compute and storage, where we learn about new improvements in the infrastructure and storage. We also covered generative AI and a lot of services. We have Amazon Bedrock and Amazon Q to get you started building Gen AI application.
And so many cool demos in that section. Good job.
I still have demos if you want me to
That's
switch
all right.
out.
It's all right. All right, all right. We also talked about data being the differentiator. Like, to get the most out of that shiny, cool new generative AI tools, you need data. You need a data foundation to actually drive that and get value. And of course, Donnie talked about the Frugal Architect from Dr. Werner Vogel's keynote. Definitely watch it, if only for the Matrix references. He loves the Matrix, that guy. He really does. But I really appreciate that. It's all about building with cost in mind, evolvable architectures, and of course, cost as a proxy for sustainability.
True.
So important going into the future. Now, one thing Donnie and I wanted to make sure we said before we left is community.aws. I know Donnie mentioned it, but if you want to see what other people, not just us, think were the highlights from reInvent, go to community.aws. We actually had an announcement for this during reInvent as well. You can now sign up yourself for a builder profile, and you can actually start writing your own posts. So why not write a post for us about what your favorite reInvent announcement was, or are you building something with Bedrock, or have you discovered something cool in Q? Write a post about it. We'd love to see from you. I've written some posts. Have you written a post yet?
Yeah, I write too.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Well, you can see what we're sharing there as well. Also, worth mentioning, community builders. Applications are open. There's a link on community.aws to the AWS Community Builders site. Our applications are open right now, but only for another 10 days. So if you want to be an AWS Community Builder, please go apply now.
And if you're looking to advance your cloud skills and knowledge, AWS Skill Builders is the perfect place for you to start. And you can scan the QR code to access the digital course and free developed by AWS experts. And after that, there's another QR code that you can scan to validate your cloud expertise with AWS certification. And it's a really good way to challenge yourself.
Absolutely. If maybe New Year's resolution to get a certification or get a new job, a certification is always handy too.
True.
So if you do get a certification, let us know. Here you can see all the different ways to get in touch with the AWS team. These are all our social media for here in Asia Pacific. Or you can tag Donnie and I on LinkedIn. We love hearing when someone's got a new certification, when they've built something cool. So please tag us and let us know. We hope that you have learned a lot today at Builders Online. I certainly have from you, Donnie. You showed me some Q stuff that I'm very excited to play with.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And happy building. See everybody.
Bye-bye.